Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, cats, dogs, AI, computer programs, and aliens to Cocktail Hour. Tonight, I am drinking. I am not drinking that little bit of whatever the fuck that is right there in the mason jar. I will not be drinking that. But what I will be drinking instead is my apple pie moonshine. Very happy about this. Polly will hopefully be joining us in a moment. Hopefully. We'll see. Unless he's messaged me with some horrifying news as to why it is that he's super mega late. I'm just kidding. It's not super mega late. It's only moderately late. It's fine. It's not a big deal. We'll give him a hard time about it when he gets back here. But in the meantime, how was everyone's weekend? How was everyone's Valentine's Day? Did everyone get a Valentine? Chocolates, hearts? Did everyone raid the stores and take from the shelves all of the discounted chocolates? I want to hear all about it, specifically from Polly when he gets here, because I don't know, I feel like it would be something fun to tease him about. Because he probably did something super weird that only Polly would do during, not Thanksgiving. Oh my god, I almost got Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day confused. Again, that wouldn't be the first time that this happened. And last time it was completely sober. This time I'm at least pleasantly tipsy. Alrighty. See, Balik and his girlfriend, this fine evening, they made me the Godfather spaghetti. So they took the recipe that is in the Godfather for spaghetti, and they made that recipe. And that's something that we do quite often as like a house. Make spaghetti in the Godfather style. And it's actually quite good. It's equal parts sweet and spicy. And for whatever reason, that really works. And so they made me spaghetti. And some of what goes in the spaghetti sauce is this really cheap-ass red wine. It's very good. It bubbles, but it's like $6 bottled in Italy. So it's like genuine shit. Because you're not gonna spend your $20 bottle of whatever going into the sauce. But we always have enough left over for at least like 2 glasses all around. And so we shared some. So I had some wine earlier. Now I've moved on to the moonshine. It's good night for Weebo. So I see that we have the next 6 minutes. Evolved Potato, De La Haze, Lion Patriot, cigar chomping, penguin. I wish I could read. But apparently, that is not something that I can do. Oh, and speaking of people who can do things that I can't do, guess who's here? And guess who I need to put my headphones on for? It's Polly. Hi, Polly. Oh,
hello.
I love that picture.
How are you?
Pleasantly tipsy already. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
That's good.
I just got home this very minute.
What do you do before you get here, like on stream, that makes you late all the time? I'm curious. I've never asked you.
What do you mean? I'm a man of the world. I'm out there carousing, living, loving.
Yeah, but like, what? Is it the same thing every week, or is it just a different reason?
No, it's a different reason most times. I wasn't driving myself. That's partially the reason why I'm late. I'm like, look, I gotta go.
That's fair.
You're like, you gotta drop me off. Come on. And it's like, yeah, hold on, just one more round. And I'm like, okay, look, I gotta go.
Hurry up.
Yeah. And it's the best part of that though is that when somebody's like one more round and you're like, no, let's leave. That's very easy to talk. Okay, well, you're buying. Fine. Yay.
Yeah. A mood. So, Polly, we were talking earlier about you, and I was curious. Do you have any special Valentine's Day things that you did this year, or that you make a tradition out of?
A tradition out of?
I don't know, because Thanksgiving you had this whole like thing planned with your mushroom ketchup, right? And so I just thought maybe, I don't know, you'd have something weird.
Well, I only discovered mushroom ketchup this year, so that I couldn't really call that a tradition.
But like, okay, maybe not a tradition, but did you do something quirky this Valentine's Day?
No, it's, usual thing. Bought a bottle of cheap champagne, got an eighth of blow, went and got a hooker,
Celebrated that single life.
Yeah, love in the modern era at its best.
Ah,
No, the answer is no. It depends. If I am attached at around that time during the year, yeah, usually end up doing something romantication, finishness.
but like you didn't do anything like
No,
outside
I'm
of the
single as
ordinary.
hell now this year.
Well, even if you're single as hell on Valentine's Day, you can still get crunk. Did I use that correctly? I'm not sure. Get crunk. What does that even mean? Poly, help.
That hasn't meant anything since like 2005, so I don't know what that.
What does get crunk mean?
Crunk isn't really like it's a musical genre.
No,
more than,
I got
than
this.
anything.
In the mid 1990s, crunk was variously defined either as hype, fat, or pumped up. So yes, Polly, did you get crunk this
Yeah, I got fat, all right.
That's good. And it's okay, to be clear. They spelled fat not with the F, but with the PH.
Yeah.
As sophisticated people do.
Yes, sophisticates.
Crunk equals crazy drunk mood. Okay. I want to talk about what I did for Valentine's Day, and so I want to talk about a part of what I did for Valentine's Day. And
why are you trying to make the incels feel bad?
No. It has nothing to do with like what you would normally think about during Valentine's Day. I wanted to look pretty, okay? So I got a haircut. Can you tell? I got a haircut.
Hold on, let me see.
See? Isn't it pretty?
Give me a second.
It's shorter. And
it
layered
is.
I
was about to say it's thinned, but that's part of the shorterness. Okay.
It's layered, so there's
oh yeah, that's what's going on.
So much more up at the front, but it's layered. Right? And I gotta say, the guy that did my hair, because it was a guy that I went to, and I've had my hair done by him before, but it was the shortest, cheapest haircut I have ever gotten. 20 minutes of my life for this, and I paid $25 for this.
Is that a good deal?
Do you know how much women usually pay for a haircut? It's upwards of like $40, depending on what they want done. And that's just a haircut. And that takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on the complexity of the haircut and, the length of their hair may be.
Right.
But it was a 20-minute haircut for $25. That's including tip, by the way.
Ooh.
It was a very interesting experience, and I'm actually quite satisfied with the results. Although I think that the next time that I get a haircut, I'm going to do layers all around instead of just in the front, because I like the look. It looks like long hair. You have long hair. Thank you, Pink Hollow. I get it. I have long hair. Yes, like an onion, it has layers. No remarks, Polly? Have you ever seen Shrek?
Shrek?
Yeah.
The animated movie?
No, the live action porno.
The live action porno?
No,
God.
the animated movie, obviously.
No, I haven't seen any of them.
Okay, the first one is actually decent. You should probably watch it. Ooh, it is my turn to pick a movie. Therefore, I say, Polly, your movie homework is to watch Shrek.
Oh, God, woman. That's your choice?
I'm trying to culture you here.
Okay, chat. So we went from Pride and Prejudice. Okay. Jesus Christ. Over to The Departed. Now to Shrek.
Well, initially it was Casablanca, and then Pride and Prejudice, and then The Departed, and now it's Shrek. So we are
scraping the ground underneath the barrel.
No. We are having it's a variety of content that we are exploring here together as a pair of co-hosts, right?
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you drunkenly randomly named something I haven't seen.
It's a delightful movie with plenty of memery to boot.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to cry. It's going to become a part of me.
It is a very cultured movie. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Vincolo the Driving Ape Man says, it's Mike Myers doing the dad voice from So I Married an Axe Murderer, and that should be Weebo's movie. What? I have it set up. So, okay, we're gonna do the thing. Ready? Can you actually see me? Okay, good. It is centered. Excellent. Thank you, John Woodruff, for the $5. Sweet. The big brain people are on. I shall now join in mocking both of you. Wow. Oof. Is he saying that we're to be made a mockery of? Or that we are the ones with the big brains? Or is that the same thing?
I don't know.
Fair. So, okay. Are you really that upset that I chose Shrek as the movie that we were supposed to watch?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's Shrek and it's animated? Like, animated movies can have death.
It's not... No, it's not so much that. It's that it's like... I was hoping for something with, the other movies were selected because they had a significant impact upon the viewer as a movie that struck a chord with the individual in some kind of way or another. And Shrek, really?
Shrek
really?
is a movie that has withstood the test of time. It is still beloved by all, even all these years later. It holds up. It's funny.
And it's funny.
It is funny. Like, it's not Mike Myers at his most debaucherous and blech, but it's him towed down to a degree that actually works, you know? It's good. Ogres have layers. Because it's okay. Honestly, it's not as silly. Like, it is a kids movie, obviously, but kids movies can have depth to it, can teach people lessons. There are subtle little things about kids movies that actually make them decent content for the rest of the world to enjoy at the same time and withstanding the test of time. You can't get that with The Departed, obviously, because little kids can't enjoy The Departed. And Pride and Prejudice is not nearly as accessible to people who maybe can't relate, don't understand, can't keep up with that level of not speaking, but that advanced a level of English usage at such a fast pace. Like, there are different movies that have, different audiences for them, but I think Shrek is one of those things that kind of unites people as a people. I'm trying way too hard to convince you that this is a good option when I could just show you the movie and that would be the entire argument, because it's actually a good movie.
So, oh, Jesus, that's depressing. Anyway.
Is it really that depressing? Or are you just being, like, a Debbie Downer?
I was hoping for a good movie. I guess I'll go watch Shrek and be like, yeah, I watched that. You're killing the fun of Weebo cinema.
Okay. If it's such an issue for you, I will choose another one and we can just watch this for funsies at some point.
Funsies.
Is this better? Is this more acceptable to you, Polly?
Yes.
Fine, I'll come up with a better movie. Although I do think that it is genuinely a good movie for our purposes here.
You know what I understand my browser's doing now?
What?
When I join a StreamYard, I do it in a separate browser than in my main browser because I don't know, I just do. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then I pop out the chat. So I have the stream open and it's paused right now, but it's still moving. I don't know why Waterfox, like it's a version of Firefox, when you pause streams on YouTube, they still keep going. I'll get like a frame every 20 seconds.
Weird.
Yeah.
It must be like a coding issue or something that they didn't anticipate. I don't use Firefox or any of the varieties.
Derivations thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those Google plebs, but that's only because for the simplicity of it. Ooh, I get another opportunity to do this. Hey guys. Thank you to Shady Grin for the donation over on the Super Chats. I feel sorry for Polly. You recommended Shrek to a guy who enjoys classics. That's like giving someone a burger and calling it a fine steak. Shrek is a classic, I would think. All right? You wouldn't get all of the sequels plus the holiday specials of this if it weren't a classic.
Well, okay, so Cigar Chopping Penguin says, Christ, Paul, you're being a freaking baby about it. Let me tell you something. Scheduling, well, anything with Weebo Jones is like, oh God. It's like pulling teeth, right? So when you do eventually find an hour to wedge or 2 hours to wedge a movie viewing in, whew, and it's going to be Shrek. It's not about being a baby. It's just about trying to maximize your limited opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you're like, I see how this is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there, I'm just moving stuff around.
Okay, all right. I guess that makes sense because it is incredibly difficult to get me to actually like sit down with somebody and hang out with them for longer than 20 minutes at a time. If we don't schedule it months in advance, if I don't set aside time for you, it's not going to happen. It's unfortunate, but that's the way that my life is for the next, let's see, it's February, 3 months. Hopefully, just that.
And Pincalo says you're one to talk about scheduling. Well, I show up for most things.
You know what?
I mean, I'm
more than
Wednesdays. I'm always available for comic book curation until the other guys aren't, and I'm there for lots of monkeys in the mornings. I'm here most Sundays. I've only missed one, right? And that's because.
There was an actual car accident that kept you from
there was a legitimate extenuating IRL circumstances. So,
yeah, exactly. And I made a joke about that before I even knew. That's what kills me is that actually happened.
You had to choke a bear before you knew? What'd you say?
No, I made a joke about it before I even knew that was the actual case. I was like, how much you guys want to bet that Polly's somewhere in a ditch somewhere on the side of the road? It was bad.
I was fine. I just, the circumstances surrounding it just kept going and going and going. Broken wrist for the driver, etc. It was just,
no, none of that nonsense. Is that really what y'all heard? Huh?
I'm sorry?
Who?
What'd you say? Is that really?
You actually heard me say I choked on a bear?
No, I heard you say I had to choke a bear. I'm like, why would you do that to a poor bear? Hold on, I got to turn your volume up. It's because you're pretty low. That's right.
Sorry.
There we go. Well, it is your fault that your volume was low.
Is it really? I can turn up my gain all the way.
No. I was kidding.
You guys can hear me in the chat, right?
Right. See, hey, Pop Tart. Volpotato says, remember when you said you were going to stream last night? Because I do. Yeah, you know who you can blame for that? Farzeus me. Oof. See, it's not just me, fellas. Like, it's, people are like, why did you do comic book curation? Well, Jack and Inquisitor aren't available every week. It's not just me.
Yeah, things happen in real life. Honestly, it's unfortunate. Like, they do. Things get in the way. And you can't plan for some things, like car accidents, for one. That's no one wants to schedule a car accident. Like, all right, on this day of the month, I will not be able to make cocktail hour because I'm going to get into a car accident. And on this day of the month, I'm going to have to schedule another appendectomy just to spite the boys.
Mm-hmm. And it, excuse me, guys. What was I going to say?
We were talking about scheduling.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And Evolved Potato beat me to it. You don't need far for a noir bar. Oh, it's very true. Like, it's, I could do noir bar just me, but I like doing it with other people. I have done some where it's just me, and I have a lot more. It's supposed to be late night chill stream, bar room, fun conversation. It's tough to converse with yourself unless you're crazy. And I have a hard time doing that because I don't want anyone to know I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like FAR wasn't available. And then I try and grab other people online, but I'm a night owl. Not a lot of other people are. So it's tough to find somebody. And then I get into doing something else. And
I feel.
Yeah.
Another one. Ah! Hello, everybody. Thank you to Lion Patriot who donated to the Streamlabs to say, what will you do with yourself, Weebo, when you finish school? You'll have free time. That I will. And you know what I'll probably do? Because I'll have like oodles and oodles of free time, hopefully a job. So if I'm not looking for a job at that point, what I'll do with my free time is I'll finish writing my goddamn book and then I'll like publish it. So I'll have 2 sources of income, one from a hobby, or no, 3. One from another hobby, and then one from the actual job. And so hopefully then I can get like famous off of that, because obviously YouTube has not been that successful in the fame department.
Planning on writing the great American novel, are you?
No. It's gonna be the next Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones nonsense. Except better.
And Balthazar approached.
Oh no!
Miriam Goodnight and
more convoluted, like even more so convoluted names that you've never heard of that you barely know how to pronounce. But what it is that I'm working on does is it takes the fantasy aspect of Lord of the Rings that I really like because I love fantasy, and it takes the political aspect of Game of Thrones that I really like because I really like feudalistic, political conflict, and it combines those two aspects using the rules of the world that I've been building for the last it's been years. Hopefully at some point I'll actually finish writing it all because I have it all outlined. I know how I want it to start, begin, the whole middle and all of the conflicts that happen interspersed throughout until the end. But I just haven't had time to actually sit down and clunk out the words in the order that they're supposed to go in a way that makes sense for like a reader to be interested in. So that's that. And I think I really have a good idea. It's just the writing takes forever and I don't have all of the time in the world to do it. But I think it's good. And I've had a few of you guys actually, of my audience, read some of the stuff that I've written for it. And, it's the beginnings of it, but it keeps y'all's attention from what I've been told, which is important. Because my biggest fear is like, I waste all of this time on writing a book that no one's actually going to read. And then I'm just like, well, shit, fuck. This was a giant waste of my time. So before I actually began writing anything, I was like, can you guys look over this one chapter, see if it's worth continuing at all? You get test cases.
Well, that's a rough proposition, man. Here, read this and tell me if I should even finish writing this. What are people going to say? No, you should not finish writing this. I mean, Jesus.
Well, no. Okay, so the main thing that I really wanted when I sent it out to people, a few of the chapters, was, is this something that piques your interest to a point where you want to know more? Not just about like the world itself, but the aspects of the plot that are intriguing to you, the characters themselves. Are they interesting? And do they capture your attention? That kind of stuff. Because my biggest fear is people finding me boring in that respect. Wasting all of my time on a book that people fall asleep reading. I want it to inspire emotion, not sleep. Does that make sense?
I hear you. And this goes back to the movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wanted a movie that inspired emotion, not cheap subvocal laughter,
Gee, thanks. Before we continue on, I just want to tackle these before I forget them. Thank you to the Evolved Potato for the donation over on the Streamlabs. Possible movie suggestions: Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, or other anime movies just to mess with Polly a bit. And then the next 6 minutes donated also to say, don't choke bears. Anyhow, this girl ain't graduated yet. She still needs the college monies. Buy her awesome merch so she can buy her awesome pasta to not dead from starve. Also help Polly get that new potato. New potatoes are good. And you know what? That reminds me to mention the fact that this show is brought to you guys by yourselves, and not just by donating to me, but also going into the description and donating to Polly, who desperately is in need of a new potato, a laptop, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the lore of the stream. Polly's links are in the description too, so go sub, go donate, go like, comment. What else is there? Follow, subscribe,
share,
all of the things. Share, yes, do it, specifically for Polly, because he's even more of a college student than I am. Right?
I've had a longer time to accumulate more debt and depression.
Exactly.
Self-deprecation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lowering expectation of the future. Thank you, Live Patriot, for the $5. Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, made in 1987, is far superior to Shrek. You cannot tell the 5-year-old in me otherwise. Okay, I won't.
I loved Alvin and the Chipmunks as a kid.
I've seen it.
I don't know if...
I mean, that's not the live action CGI weirdness, right?
No. This was several decades ago, right? Not more recently.
Like, that's the animated one with the feature-length one with Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Chipettes, right? Like the girl chipmunks.
I want to say, yeah.
Where there's like a fat one, a tall, nerdy one, and a frat boy one. Like,
I think that's what he's talking
the chipmunks.
about. I hope that's what he's talking about. You know what's funny, actually, is I loved those as a kid, the Alvin and the Chipmunks. It wasn't until recently that I realized that my dad absolutely hated them.
What? The Chipmunks? Why?
Their voices. And plus, he's not a very big fan of animated stuff.
Okay.
But, you know, as a dad, as a single father of 2 children.
Like, their voices are so obviously sped up, normal adult voices. I can see that getting on someone's nerves. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. My dad is a trooper. Thank you, Dad, for putting up with that. Yep.
Alpha Omega says I'm still using an ancient Sony Vaio laptop with Windows 7. Yeah, I call it my school laptop. It's the smaller notebook computer, which interestingly is more powerful than the potato I use here. But in any case, it's a Hewlett Packard that's modeled right after a MacBook. Like, it just the chassis of it and the keyboard of it and everything are an obvious ripoff of a MacBook. Yeah. Anyway, that one's running Windows 7, and Windows or Microsoft just stopped supporting Windows 7. So every time I turn it on, I get that notification. Warning! You are no longer receiving updates. Danger, danger.
Doesn't Windows 7 run? I've heard people say Windows 7 is better than Windows 10. Is that true?
You'd have to ask some people about that. I mean, Hammer, like the one-ton Hammer, tried convincing me to update my computer from Windows 7 to 10 for a long time. Mm-hmm. And excuse me. And I was reluctant to do so because I really dug 7. He's like, no, trust me. It's got this, it's got that. After I was with Windows 10 for a while, I warmed up to it. It's got a bunch of really nice features, small things that end up making a huge difference. I couldn't comment on how optimized it is, which was a point that he was making about that it's not as intrusive, it's more stable, intrusive on system resources.
Yeah.
I'm going to take his word on it as being yes. So, yeah.
See, I went from Macintosh operating system to Windows 10. So the last time I used a Windows was probably way back in the day. Oh, God. I was probably in like middle school or elementary school. That was before Windows 7, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. No. I don't know. I'm not that old, but I am old. Daniel Foreman asks, will your books spawn amusement park rides, movies, and merch? I don't know. That's bold of me to assume that is the level of success I'll ever achieve.
Isn't that the point of all young adult novels now?
I don't know if it counts as a young adult novel because, like, any hope of a love triangle is immediately squashed by the fact that I'm killing off everyone's favorite characters all the time. Like, actually, people die. And also, I don't know if you'd want to find the book that I'm writing in middle school and high school libraries for very, very specific reasons.
What with all the salacious anal sex and all?
Not quite, but close. Like, I don't shy away from that shit.
Hey, Weebs, have you ever seen Captain America with an Asian baby instead of a shield?
Excuse me? Can you repeat the question once again?
Have you ever seen Captain America with an Asian baby instead of a shield?
Is that what I'm looking at here?
Well, yeah.
Why am I looking at that here? Explain. What's going on, Polly?
I can't make it any more straightforward than it is. It's Captain America with an Asian baby instead of a shield.
Why is the background the same color as the Asian baby? Like,
oh, that was a deep cut at the Asians.
I don't know what's going on. Where did this come from? Who decided this was necessary? What? Okay. First one, was that like an actual comic book image that?
No.
No. Okay. Is that fan art?
No, that's a Jack Kirby original drawing right there. You can tell by the kind of style of it and stuff. But
okay. Why does it exist?
At no point did anyone in the MCU have an Asian baby instead of a Captain America shield.
Why does it exist?
I don't understand why you're deconstructing it. Just look at it. It's so stupid.
It has to have a purpose.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Like, why? I cannot. Oh, my bad. I cannot mentally fathom the purpose behind an image like that existing. And thus, I need an explanation. Like, I cannot.
You're not going to like some of the other graphic humor I have then. Jeez.
Art has to have like a reason why it exists. Like, it has to. I know this is not a popular way to go about vetting what art is like worth existing versus not. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying, but art has to have a reason, like a purpose, a meaning, something significant behind it, right?
I don't think so. I don't understand why you're such a stickler on this idea.
Because it just does. It does. Like, even the Venus de Milo, right?
Yeah.
Famous thing that was dug up by it has a story. The reason why it is as famous as it is because one, it's Greek statuary, but it's attributed to the Roman pantheon. But it's been dug up, found, and then displayed in the Louvre, and they gave it like an actual story, I guess. Like, oh, this is obviously a representation of the goddess Venus, because the only people who are actually supposed to be depicted as nude as females, because if you look anywhere else, you're not going to see nude females in statue at all, except for if you're talking about Aphrodite, Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, sex, whatever. There is a purpose. There's a reason why she's nude. Like, you can't just have. Okay, are you gonna show me? What are you showing me?
It's a fat squirrel.
I mean, it's cute. That would be the reason why it exists.
Look how fat he is.
Exactly. It's adorable. See, this actually has a reason. There's a reason why this picture exists, and that is because the squirrel is fat and thus cute. Even the squirrel has a reason for existing in this form.
He's sitting on a giant bed of shelled sunflower seeds. He's eating them all. How do you know? Because he's fat.
Comical. See, there's a purpose, audience.
That is the warm squirrel in the forest. He's ready for winter, this guy.
He's winter. Much of art is tongue-in-cheek. Does that have a purpose? That does have a purpose, but like that's a purpose that's obvious. I get that. I know what that is. But I don't get what the Asian baby's for.
And Pink Hollow says, that's my backyard. They're all that fat. Really? Holy shit. That's the fattest squirrel I've ever seen in my life, man. That thing is just, it's a ball.
There's
How
a
does he
Venus.
climb? How does he climb trees? Ryan Walters asks. Exactly. He must be a pretty slow moving squirrel.
There is a Venus de Milo action figure. Someone told me in the chat, and I need to look it up.
If only Roman goddesses or Greek goddesses, what have you, can be depicted as being nude.
No. Not any Greek goddess. It's specifically Aphrodite.
Okay, so
Like,
Aphrodite.
That's how you know that that's her. Because each of the gods have like their little thing that you know is supposed to be symbolic of them.
Uh-huh.
And that's how you know that that's their representation. Like Poseidon has a trident. Zeus has the lightning bolt. Hades looks like an asshole. Aphrodite is naked. Artemis has a bow. Athena has her like her breastplate thingy and the helmet and the spear. Like, it's all pretty obvious. Which
no, I get it. I get it. So she's the only one that can be. Venus is the only one that can be depicted as a double amputee because of amputee fetishes.
Well, no, actually, the reason she's an amputee is because how she was found. Someone ran her over with a plow.
Nice.
She'd been buried. And so,
did you ever see that Simpsons episode where where Mr. Burns and Smithers went into Mr. Burns' private archive collection of stuff?
No.
He walks in, he's like, Mr. Burns, why do you want this thing? You've already got so much. And they're just walking through this room that's like his private archive. And Smithers just kind of like lists off a few of the things he has. Why do you want this other thing? You've got so much, right? He's that rare nude portrait of Mark Twain, the original draft of the Constitution with the word suckers in it. As they're walking by, there's on a wireframe mannequin, there's the Venus de Milo arms. He's got the arms.
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
No, I've not seen that.
So we have addressed, well, several different things. And, art must have a purpose. Obviously, Weebo doesn't understand the value of kitsch.
What's that?
Tackiness, gaudiness, if you will. So we're going to look at, because we kind of have to, tacky lamps.
It's a naked lady's leg. Or no, it's a.
No, she got fishnets on.
Yeah, fishnets. Sorry, not naked ladies. Fishnet lady stocking leg lamp.
Do you appreciate the detail that they've gone through the work to have tassels hanging from the lampshade so it looks like it's part of her dress? See, this is clever.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. This is hilarious. I don't get why it is that Captain America has to be represented as wielding an Asian baby. Like, what is the point? I need a backstory. I need a reason.
Wow.
That's
I will make sure to conjure some detailed explanation background as to why I'm showing you a picture. Here's this man that really blah 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 blah. I don't know. Steve Rogers was deployed to the Asian Pacific and etc. I'll come up with something.
A baby like that though.
Yeah.
I think America's hero would be able to wield a child appropriately.
So you like the leg lamp?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's funny.
How about the Jesus ceramic with a clock in the chest?
You mean the one true Son of God, the light of the world?
Is that what's going on there?
That's what's going on there.
It's not just really horrible Midwest flea market cheap art.
See, this has purpose. This has meaning. This has value.
You realize Jesus is rocking a green vest in this, right?
Yes,
That's the thing that's what bugs me the most is the green vest. I don't know why.
He's also got a clock on his breast.
Well, yeah, of course.
You can tell time and light up your entire world with Jesus.
Yes.
I see the lights, says Pete. Why is he wearing camo? Says Advoctus Diablo. Because traditionally, my friend, in areas where people have a very specific cultural way of life, right? Very specific heritage that they're adhering to, the important figures of their lives, such as Jesus, maybe perhaps even Santa Claus, are symbolic of their day-to-day cultural existence. Therefore, that's how we get white Jesus and black Jesus. That's how we get white Santa and black Santa. So there's a good explanation for you. See, even black Santa has a purpose. Polly.
Thank you very much. Next 6 minutes. Bro, I got your back. If I can help in some small way to help you get that badass potato, bro, I'm going to help you in some small way so you can get that badass potato. Viva Papas Grandas Especial. High fives and shit. Watch Shrek, bro. It's good.
It is good.
Well, thank you. Next 6 minutes. I appreciate that. I don't know what I just said in Espanol, but it's is Papas potato in Espanol?
Papas fritas is French fries, so yes, I think it is.
Okay, so it's Viva Papas Grandas Especial. So it would be life to the great potato special great potato. Yeah, okay, sure, that makes sense. Zombie Teddy says, "That's no Jesus. Jesus was white." Yeah, well, Jesus wasn't white. Excuse me, wasn't white. I fucked that up. Whatever, you get it.
Like I said, typically, I'm not going to say fictional characters, but important symbolic figures from history or folklore or whatever take on the representation of the cultures in which are celebrating them. So there you go. And then, of course, there's the materialistic aspect of like, oh, what are they using to represent this figure? That's another thing that you have to take into account. Art's very complicated, all right? It annoys me, but I love it. Well,
it's a good thing that you deconstruct and criticize it constantly as it's coming in for something that you love.
Of course.
Thank you, Evolved Potato, for the $1. Some cursed images. Go to the Botched Surgeries Reddit page. They are amazing. Here's the link. Thank you, Evolved Potato.
Surgeries. We can't do that live, Ollie.
Well, I'll check that out. It depends on what botched surgeries you mean. Like if it's like fucked up. I mean, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you, Evolved Potato. That might be some late night bar conversation instead of freaking Weebo the hell out. What's the purpose in this missing finger or whatever? I don't need her losing her mind.
I don't need a purpose for a missing finger. Shit happens.
But
art has like purpose. Like someone had to take time to rationalize doing this with their lives. Sorry, you were saying Jesus.
Let's go on to no, we're at tacky lamps.
So wait, I have a question. Go back. Does lamp Jesus zoom in? Does lamp Jesus's beard have like the butt chin going on thing?
Well, it's kind of got the split thing in the middle. That it's Jesus has such a pronounced cleft chin that his beard is conformed.
Sorry, you can continue now. I just had to point that out.
So here we have a wonderful hunting lodge lamp. I'm going to gather. Mm-hmm. It's got 4 deer hooves that are forming the legs of it, and it is thematically consistent, as we can see, with a strong stag prancing uphill upon the shade.
See, this makes sense. If it's like in a hunting lodge, right? Obviously, that's where you would have that, since you're adhering to the theme of the place, of the setting. That makes sense.
I would argue that this is tacky. Those legs.
If it fits in, it's not tacky.
Oh, no, there's tacky, but thematically consistent.
So then wouldn't that make the whole room tacky?
Not necessarily. Let's say you had this as a painting, this striding stag here, just as a painting on the wall. That might not be tacky, but when you combine it on a lampshade as a just pasted on picture, because it's clearly not the whole way around, as we can see, and then put 4 deer legs as the legs of the lamp, it crosses the road. It's tacky, in my opinion. Wonderfully so, but nonetheless.
I don't know. The chat disagrees with you. They don't think it's tacky. Zelthor thinks that it's not tacky. Then Ryan Walters also said it's not tacky, it's just furry.
No, Zelthor said no, that's tacky.
No, yeah, he did say that. I'm sorry, I can't read. I'm almost done with my apple pie moonshine.
Jesus Christ.
I have a whole half gallon left in the fridge, guys.
She says unrelated to her previous confusion. Okay,
No, it's related, definitely.
Moving
I said
on.
that for
a hot dog hound lighting up in the center.
That's where his heart is, right?
That's what's going on. He's got a glowing heart of gold.
Exactly. See, he's a good boy. You know that because he's got a glowing heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good boy. This has purpose.
Wow. I don't understand if you constantly evaluating tacky art upon its purposelessness or otherwise.
There's got to be some sort of discernible reason that I can come up with, like just that, for why art is the way that it is.
What's the reason we got for this?
Is this supposed to be a lamp?
No, this is an ashtray. It made it into this folder because I was gathering ugly lamps and I came across this and just couldn't say no. It says at the bottom, she's as nice a gal as you'd want to meet, but she loves to ride in the rumble seat.
Yeah, no, I don't get this. This has no purpose.
What do you mean? It holds your cigarettes while they're burning.
Okay, yes, it has that purpose. But everything else that's going on here, there is no purpose for it. It's not clever. It's not cheeky. There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason for this.
There's a word for this. Tacky. What are you missing about this?
Oh no, I'm looking at the definition of tacky in the slang terms, and it says it can be cheap, flashy, garnish, gaudy, loud, tawdy, or trashy.
Yep.
This is just pointless. Like, at least the other ones have a point, a purpose, a reason for their existence that I could come to, even if it's like a very silly reason, you know? Like, it doesn't have to exist, but it does, and it's somewhat clever. This doesn't have to exist. It's not clever, and I don't like it. 0 out of 5 points.
All right.
Okay, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Do the eyes glow in the dark when you turn off the lamp?
I think in as much as the entire lampshade, and by extension the faces glow, the eyes glow, yes.
Okay. But like once you turn off the lamp, no light.
Oh, probably not.
All right, then yeah, no, scrap this. There is no purpose for this. All right, if the baby faces maybe glowed a little bit in the dark, then maybe I could see a reason for having this to freak people out in like a haunted house. But no, this is just, you had extra baby faces lying around and you didn't know what to do with them, but you didn't want to throw them out, so you just tap them on a lamp and be like, ah, yes.
What I find interesting, as Joe Lander says, a little glow in the dark paint. Yeah, you can make it happen. What I find interesting about this particular one is that the baby faces, the doll faces, are all from different sized dolls, but they all have the same expression, glancing off to the left. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, this is someone with too many aborted fetuses on their hands.
Whoa.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Why would anyone have extra baby faces lying around? Asked Jay Willie. Well, you see, there is actually a very good reason for that. And the reason is you are constructing some sort of freaky novelty haunted house thing in which you are cutting the faces off of doll children and you are putting them in places to freak people out. See, that is a viable excuse for why you would have baby faces every which way. But other than that, I can't see a purpose for cutting the faces off of baby dolls. Sorry. A Barbie wreath. A Barbie head wreath.
Mm.
Hmm.
What is Barbie's little friend called?
Fuck if I know.
Is that
Jessica, maybe.
Is that Skipper?
No, Skipper is the small one. She's got another friend. Barbie's friend.
Karen?
Midge.
It's Karen, isn't it?
Is it Midge?
Midge. That'd be a terrible name.
I'm getting Midge. It's the brunette, right?
Yes.
No, I'm getting Midge. There's an entire fandom wiki on Barbie's friends and families.
Huh.
There's Ken. There's Alan Sherwood. There's Bobby. These are the male friends. Yeah, the first one that comes up is Midge. What the fuck? Midge? Ew. Oh, I don't know. Midge is the red hair chick. All right. Maybe it's Teresa. Is it Teresa? Nope, it's not Teresa.
What is Midge short for? Like Barbie is Barbara. What's Midge short for? Well, I mean,
Midge.
Barbie. Yeah. I mean, it can be short for Barbara. I'm assuming. I'd always assumed it was.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know that she was discontinued and then recontinued several times. Megatron. Marjorie. Maggie. I don't know. Snake Eyes was Barbie's friends.
I like the idea of Barbie hanging out with Snake Eyes at a coffee shop. That's great.
I'm going to go with my final answer is midget. Like Bridget, but midget.
All right. So this is a holiday Christmas wreath of Barbie and midget. Got it. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Also, I don't see like it's a purpose. It's got no purpose. Maybe you touched your genitals. Hand sanitizer. This is funny.
No, this didn't. Obviously, this isn't a lamp or ashtray, but
it made it.
Yeah, it made it into this folder because I was saving things, and I'm like, I'm not going to not save that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find it amusing, and it does have a purpose. Therefore, it can stay. Oh, it's 2 ounces.
Hmm.
For those of you curious.
It's purse-sized.
Yep.
And then finally, we have a pair of deer hoof ashtrays.
Why do you need 2? Why do you even need 1? What? No, this can't stay.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Ash in a coffee cup like a caveman? No. And why do you need 2? Well, you and your lady could be sitting on a couch and you could each have your own deer hoof ashtray on the opposing side coffee table.
Why?
On end tables.
Have to be deer hooves is my question.
Well, Joe Lander's got a point. It could very well be an elk foot.
Okay.
So.
Either way, why does it have to be a foot in general? Why are you dumping your cigarette butts into the foot of a creature? Like, just because you can? Is that it? It's not good enough.
You're being oddly literalist today.
Yeah. I'm being obstinate about it.
Yes.
What about it?
But you also agreed with the oddly part, which I find oddly honest. I'm recognizing I'm being deliberately obstinate.
I recognize this. Yes. I think it's the alcohol. I've had so much. No, but like, okay. Unless you live your life in like a household that's themed as like a hunter's lounge or whatever, a lodge.
Uh-huh.
I don't see a reason why you need a cloven foot ashtray. I just don't. Like, okay, here's the other thing too. I would make an exception in the case where you personally shot that elk / deer / whatever it is that you did, right? And you needed some way to use all of the bits and pieces like our ancestors did. In which case, I will accept this, all right? Just because you had nowhere else to go with these cloven hoof things, and you needed something to do with them. Therefore, you made them into ashtrays, a pair of ashtrays, but ashtrays nonetheless. I get that. But any other reason is unacceptable. Do you really need anything crafty? I mean, you can, Valus. I just feel like it has to have more purpose. Novelty is okay, but it's got to be cheeky. It's got to be clever. There's got to be like, something funny about it. Just to have it because you want it like that. It's not good enough. To me, at least. I don't know why I feel this way. I just do. Okay?
No, that's fine.
Why wouldn't you need cloven foot things? It's a household staple. Some people live dangerously, I guess. I don't know. Rabbit foot ashtrays are only good for Virginia Slims, said Jolander. You can do that? What a lovely room of death, Ace Ventura. I was just talking about the first time I ever saw an Ace Ventura movie today, which, by the way, is a depressing story on its own.
Sure.
You want me to tell it?
Sure.
So I had a boyfriend. This is the boyfriend before current boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
This boyfriend broke my heart. It's my first heartbreak ever. It was sad. We only ever went on 2 dates. Ever. One of which was in the 6 months that we were dating, by the way. This was in high school. This was like right around the time when we were getting our licenses, but like just before. And we'd only ever gone on 2 dates. One was a study date to study for finals, wherein I sat there like a pathetic asshole and annoyed him while he was studying for his physics final or whatever. Because I already got my studying done and it was fine. It's not a big deal. But, he wanted to study, but he also wanted to spend time with his girlfriend. Anyway, the second date was we were going to watch Ace Ventura: Pet Detective in my basement at my house. And so, because I'd never seen it before, and he's like, oh God, Weebo, you have to see it. It's a great movie. So I said, all right, cool. So we watched it in the basement, and it was a good movie. It was funny. But this was like the only date, like proper date that we ever went on. And it's even sadder by the fact that right before he broke up with me, I found out that our entire 6-month relationship, he was living a lie in that he was calling me by my nickname, which sounds very unisex. Like my real life nickname sounds very unisex. Mm-hmm. And he was addressing me as such to his parents. So the entire time that we were dating, his parents thought that I was just his really close guy friend. Because he had avoided using pronouns and alluding to the fact that I was a girl the whole time. Or he was alluding to the fact that I was a guy the whole time. And I found out this a week before he broke up with me. And it was 2 days before my birthday that he finally broke up with me, a week later. Oof. Fat Pepe rip. But yeah, that's what I think about every time if someone brings up Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Every time.
Okay.
Most humiliating relationship I've ever been in my entire life. Tell your stories now, kids. I don't know why I said that.
Why, you told the story or tell your stories?
Tell your stories.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Make sure I'm not alone.
Well, I don't have a story like that. Was that the part that was heartbreaking? Was the fact that he didn't pronoun to his parents?
There was that, and also the fact that because I was a girl and we were dating technically, his parents got on his case about the fact that I wasn't Christian enough for him. And so the reason he broke up with me was because 1, I was a girl, 2, his parents knew about me, and 3, they also knew that I wasn't godly enough for him. And so that was like the deal breaker, I guess. Which made me feel bad, but I didn't know about it. So that's very heart-wrenching for me. Like, fat Pepe rip, Weebo. Fat Pepe rip. Sad face. Mentioned a goofy movie, and Weebo goes dark. Yeah, no, I had war flashbacks. Because we were talking about it at dinner earlier, too. Ah. Yeah, what a way to spoil a birthday. That's terrible. And here's the funny part. I don't actually think he realized it was 2 days before my birthday either.
Did you tell him?
I told him, I'm like, bruh, this is rough, and it's like 2 days before my birthday. How could you? But I mean, like, when is there a good time to actually break up with somebody? If you've already decided it, just get it over with anyway. I'd rather, now looking back, I'd rather if it had been as soon as like he knew than have it draw out past my birthday. Because then it's all a bullshit game, you know? Yeah, war flashbacks. The next 6 minutes, I have a few stories like that, Weebs. And you know what? Hopefully, I never have a story like that ever again. Because now I'm in a good relationship and I'm happy about it. And I can look back and I can laugh about it. And that's important. We learn from the lessons that we are forced to suffer through as children.
As children.
Because I was a child. I was in high school. I couldn't even drive legally on the street yet by myself. So I was devastated, but I was at that age where, you know, the slightest of slights made it feel like the sky was falling. You get me? And I was a girl too.
I do, but you've turned cocktail hour into a crying in our drinks depression fest. What's going on over there, Weebo? Are you doing okay? Are you feeling okay?
I thought it was a funny story. I thought everyone was gonna laugh.
Wait, well, hold on. You started it by saying the first man to break my heart, etc. He didn't know it was my birthday. He never told his parents about me. I wasn't Christian enough. Then he broke up with me, and everyone was just gonna, split a side on this one.
See, you're laughing now. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm used to people just laughing it off because it was a silly, ridiculous thing. Like, no relationship that you have in high school is at that age when you can't even drive to see a person for the first time, like for an actual date, is that serious. Let's be honest. Come on. At least be 16 before you actually start dating people seriously or taking it seriously. Before we continue on, thank you to Joe Lander, who donated to say, time for shots, drink away the pain. It's not even that, it doesn't hurt anymore. It's just a funny story. It's sad but funny, but like, it's a lesson to be learned.
Yeah, well, I had a girl break up with, I had a relationship end because of the religious thing. So yeah, I feel your pain there.
Yeah. But it's fine. It was years and years ago.
Have you ever tried to end a relationship and the other person says no?
I have a story about that too.
It's the weirdest thing. There was a Seinfeld episode about that. Yeah. Like it's so comical that you could even do sitcom shit out of it.
Yeah.
Where the other person was like, "No, I want us to stay together," because that's asking. What do you do when the other person just outright says no? Because that happened to me in that situation. I was like, "Well, we're not going on like this." And it's like, "No, you're overreacting." It's like, wait, let me state it differently then. I'm not going on like this. I'll take the we out of it.
Like, okay, so just a flat out no immediately there to your face, not like a delayed reaction.
No, it was. I was sort of delayed, I guess, a considered reaction, because it was like, wait, what? Why? Like the first reaction was one of surprise, and then explain this. I don't understand. What are you talking about? So I explained it. A couple of questions were to follow. I answered those. And then she said, no, you're overreacting.
Like, as in, we can work this through, or
maybe that's what was implied there. But what was said was just that's not going to happen.
Ryan Walters said, what part of Ride or Die did you not understand, Polly? Yeah, Polly.
Well, hey,
All or nothing.
let me tell you about ride or die, Ryan Walters. Okay. Oh, I think that a lot of people in relationships have small red flags that should not on their own, but cumulatively add up to there's a fucking problem here. And then there's other things where it's, there is an insoluble fucking problem here. A big red flag, like the size of Old Glory, big red flag. Jewish girl. And she tells me, like in a different conversation that had nothing to do with relationships or her and I or religion or anything of the kind. It just came up as a matter of the course of the discussion. Well, it's not like I could take you home to meet my parents. And it took a second for that to absorb into my mind. And I went, wait, what? What do you mean?
Excuse me.
Yeah, because right away I started explaining it like without due preparation or something, right? Like there must be a second part to that sentence that you didn't add on. You just didn't stick the part after the comma in yet. It's like, no, that wasn't a comma. It was a period. She meant it as a fulsome statement. Yeah. And I was like, why? And she goes, well, you're not Jewish. And I'm like, yeah.
So this is.
And I said, so. Well, no, because my next question, what do you think it was? Take a guess. It was naive. The next question.
So then, where do we go from here? Question mark. I don't know.
What? And no, it was like, so we're dating in secret from now on, like on
no
into
one
the
needs to know.
like on into the foreseeable future. And she said, well, it can only go so far. And I'm like, oh, well, we're done.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say it that quickly because I just, okay, wait a minute. Like, asked a number of clarifying questions. And she's like, you seem to be taking this very seriously. And it's like, I was, emphasize was, taking you very seriously up until this conversation. I'm like, wait a minute. So in other words, we're having fun, a tryst, etc. Okay, well, I was on the wrong perspective on this. But now that I know this, dignity's in my way in a huge way. I've already... Like, you want to make it cold like that? And like, we ended up in a yelling match. And I was like, you want to make it all cold like that? Like, we're just having a tryst, having fun. Well, I fucked you, and in a whole number of ways. So that itch has been scratched. Why the fuck am I continuing to be with you then? If there's nothing on into the future, you're the one who made it just about fun and a tryst. Well, we've had fun. So bye.
Oof. Rough. Well, but that does make sense. It does.
I mean, seriously, it left me really angry, like with the whole thing. Like, what the fuck? Why are you even here? Becomes my question.
So you're more pissed off about like why are you even wasting my time then in that case?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was really into that girl. And it becomes one of those situations where, in my opinion, looking back on it, that it sucked, but you got to make that dignified call, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, this sucks. I don't want it to be this way, but it ain't going to be the way that I do want it to be. So make that hard call, and like, that's it. And I got text messages from her, phone calls from her, like up to like a couple months later, like, have you calmed down yet? And it was like the way that she handled it afterwards were all further indications that I had made the right call. Like, have you gotten over it yet? Your incredible cold-heartedness, I've forgiven it and not forgotten it. And why are you texting me? But,
what do you want, bitch?
Yeah, Daniel Folman says that Polly was the forbidden fruit. Right. Do you see what I mean? Like, that's the kind of way it comes across. It's like, oh, so you were dating the goyim because as long as your parents didn't know, it was fun for the meantime. But like, fuck you, you miserable bitch. Yeah. I mean, that's some heavy duty, racist, whatever you want to call it, shit that you're fucking around with right there. And this was a girl also who would talk constantly about anti-Semitism. Not that anti-Semitism isn't a real thing, but you harbor some ugly shit, girl. Really ugly.
Yeah, that has a whole host of implications towards it. Oof. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Polly. I think what's worse is the fact that she had the audacity to just be like, wasting your time, and then be like, yeah, he's totally cool with it.
But she went into this.
I'll get over it.
She did go into this thing about like, well, you're a guy. Why do you have a problem with this? So it's like, again, you harbor some really ugly thoughts. Guys are all about fuck them and leave, right? Like, you know what I mean? Is that what you're assuming here? I don't know.
Oh my God.
The world's full of wildly different people. And I'm sorry to say I encountered somebody who was like that. Jesus.
Did it, like, was it jarring to realize that that was a person that existed on the same level as you? Or just at the same point in time in history as you?
It's interesting to realize that you've been nodding along with a pretty false bill of goods. Like somebody will say like, and then this person said this thing to be like, she'd bring up like anti-Semitic things. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, that sucks. And it would be like listening to somebody talking about, I don't know. Like, I have a friend of mine, okay? A longtime friend of mine. He's black. You should hear him talk about Asians. Holy shit. And he will go on and on about the racism that he has to deal with. And then, now let me tell you about them fucking chinks. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's, there's no small amount of, and I've talked to him about, or mentioned it to him. I said, man, you realize there's a lot of hypocrisy in that. When you're like, you don't even know me. How are you going to judge me on this basis? And it's like, yo, man, come on. Seriously, you can't hold that as a principle. You can't be serious right now. But, it's an interesting thing. Not interesting. That's not the right word. It's a hell of a thing to encounter somebody who's so blatant with it like that. And it's like, why do you even bother considering romantic partners or whatever the fuck with somebody who's not Jewish? If this is, because it wasn't just like my parents, it wasn't just her parents, it was her too. That was her point. It's not like I can take you on to my parents. It's not like there's a future in this. Well, what the fuck do you even bother with all this stuff for? Just be giving me booty calls at night. Those are not the signals you were sending and not the conversations explicitly that we've been having. So what the hell?
Wait, okay. So it was like more than just the booty call kind of conversation. It was like okay, so when we live together eventually, yada, yada, yada. What kind of...
Well, we had been dating for 6 months.
6 months?
It was 6 months. Yeah, I guess I didn't add that in yet. This was at the 6-month mark.
What?
Yeah, man. Like, okay, so we were like dating and friendly and flirting and whatever. And I was insanely busy and wasn't in town at that time because I was finishing up some school shit. So I wasn't in town, but we were like text messaging and shit for like the first couple. So I'm dating the 6 months from the time we met. Okay. So the first couple of months I wasn't even in town, but we were doing the talky flirty thing. And then when I got to town, then we started dating, and then it kind of became exclusive. And we had the exclusive discussion. You know what I mean? Where you have the talk where we're I don't really want to be dating anyone else. Neither do I. Like that whole thing,
The talk where you go from just casual to we are a thing.
Yeah, man. We had that discussion. That's what I mean when I say it wasn't just signals that she was sending that I was over interpreting. So anyway, enough of my spotlight story. I'm just saying there's all sorts of weird people out there. It ain't just you who's been denied, weebs. Like it's we can cry in our whiskey together.
Well, I'm already out of my apple pie moonshine sad face. I'd have to get some more, but I don't feel like getting up yet. Just quite yet. Well, you know what is interesting, right? And I found this a lot more in high school than I did when I left high school, but it's still a thing in college. Is that people neglect to have those qualifying conversations about their relationships. The ones where you go from we are talking to each other to we are exclusive. Like people talk an awful lot about active consent, but never about having that conversation that closes the gap and, solidifies the fact that you're actually in a relationship with that person. And that's a little bit more of a high school thing, but you get it in college a lot too.
Yeah.
And that's just annoying.
Quick to say it. Pete asked, what's your longest relationship, Polly? 2 years is my longest relationship. Mm-hmm. And Dale Fulman says, show Weebo the video of the girls in the car calling the ex-boyfriend. Which one? The one with why did you call me when she's got it on speakerphone? I don't, if you DM that to me or something, I'll show it to her, but I don't have a copy of that. So.
Oh, it's not just women, Zelthor. It's also men that neglect to have the we are official conversation, if you catch my drift.
You know what? I mean, Zelthor says, like, in conclusion, women are bad. Well, I was having a discussion with Chaos Eve about this, and we're with a bunch of other people there in voice chat. We were talking about like long distance relationships and can they work. Mine was disastrous in the end. It didn't work out. But I am not going to tell anyone not to do the long distance thing if it works for you. And I would do the long distance thing again. Just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work. That's people run off with some bullshit. And it's like, would I ever date a Jewish girl again? Fuck yeah, of course I would. She was a miserable bitch. That's her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, would I ever date someone outside my religion or someone who was deeply religious or whatever the hell? Yeah, I would. You can't let personal past experience make you a bitter person. That's how you turn into these weird creepos that let some bad shit in their past guide their entire future.
Yeah. Long distance, to speak on something that I am kind of an expert in at this point. Going on 4 years LD. About to close that gap, though. Because I've had the same boyfriend ever since I left high school to enter into college. And we've made it work. Long distance. 4 hours away from each other 9 months of the year. Somehow, against all of the odds. And everyone telling us, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. You're going to get sick of waiting on each other, yada, yada, yada. We've lasted, and we're making plans for the future. And the reason why it's lasted, there are a couple things, but chief among them are you have to have an end game. Like, what are the plans that you're working towards? And you have to talk about them, too. Active, open, honest communication with each other is super important, especially when you can't be around each other nearly as much as you'd like to the point where you know what's going on with people because you've just been in the same vicinity. Like, you have to call each other, you have to text each other, you have to make an effort for that person, a little bit more so than when they're just right next to you or when they're down the street or 15-minute car ride away. It's an exercise in selflessness, I guess you could say, because when you're going through your life, you have to consider it's not just you who is depending on, the decisions that you make towards the rest of your life. It's that other person too. And so every decision you make, like from vacationing and spending time with that person, kind of has to revolve around that other person's plans too. So work schedule, their vacation schedule, and whatnot. So you have to actively be considering the other person, their needs, their emotions, everything.
Conspiracy Media Review says non-consensual sex still has the word sensual in it.
God.
That's funny. I'm going to file that away for later use. Zelda says, who needs women when you have waifus? You don't even believe that, Zelthor. Come on, bro.
Funny.
So Weebs, have you been hearing about the what's her name?
Melanie Project.
Melody?
Yeah.
Who's mad, man? Who's mad?
Okay, hang on, pause. Someone tweeted at me on Twitter and they're like, Weebo, I saw you in her chat on her stream or whatever. And I'm like, what? Someone is out there using my name on Chatterbait to message Project Melody while she's live, I guess.
I've still got the Weebo avatar up.
Yeah, you do.
I can change
no
that.
Shade, but total shade.
I forgot about that shit. Why didn't you say something? Fuck.
I thought I did at the beginning.
You scoffed at it, but you didn't. Hold on. I'll change that.
But yeah, I heard about Project Melody. I think
I just love how angry
hilarious.
the girls are. It's just
first they came for the coal miners, and then they came. they came for the internet Chatterbait thoughts. Oh wow, that's a big forehead right there.
That's Ellen Page. She got a big forehead. What are you gonna do? God made her that way. Don't make fun.
That's not a real forehead, is it?
I love that you actually had to ask. Is it?
I only ask that because I very recently saw that video of the woman with the augmented hips and the tattoos everywhere. And have you seen that video? Like, she was a pretty woman beforehand, but now she's got like these watermelons. I'm not even kidding about the size of these bitches on her chest. And she's got these hips that extend like 2 extra people past where they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
I have, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
So, yes, at this point in my existence, I'm going to ask if that is a real forehead, because there is entirely a probability that someone could go through the needless augmentation to get to that point. Because don't forget, there used to be a tribe in Africa, I'm pretty sure, that bound the skulls of their infant children with pieces of plywood and like wire or whatever in order to elongate the skull backwards. And so anything can happen. Right?
Fair enough.
Oh, so it was not actually her forehead.
No, God, no.
Okay.
She has a monstrous forehead, but that's not her.
What's wrong with having large foreheads, Polly? I have myself a 5 head right here. Do you see this?
Well, your so-called 5 head is not nearly as big as her.
Yeah.
7, 8 head.
Just means that I have more room up here, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
And my eyebrows can go further up. It's nice.
I know a number of girls that talk about what they perceive to be their overly large forehead. I rarely see it. And if it's like, yeah, I guess you do have a large forehead, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
In other words, women be really focused on that shit.
No, the forehead's not so much of an issue. It's my profile. I'm not a big fan of the way that I look in my profile, because if you look at my profile, sometimes you can actually see like little dip in baby fat here that I still have because I never grew out of it. But it's a good thing that I have it, because it means that I can do some fun, crazy things with my face, candidly, you know? And it also helps with the fact that I have dimples too. So without the baby fat, you don't get the dimples. And those are super adorable.
Are you sure that you lose dimples if you lose weight? Is that a thing? I didn't.
Sometimes, if you have a little bit of extra skin around the face, it doesn't have to do with the way that your muscles are contorted, I guess. It can contribute to dimplage. And they're part of the reason why I have such pronounced dimples. I think. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, it's not quite a double chin. It's just kind of like a little bit of extra chub. But if I do this, I have to do this in order to get a double chin. Like, you can't even tell right now. You see this? This is what I have to do. So it's not a double chin. It's a little bit of extra just right down here.
Alpha Omega says, put up your Zoot Suit otter avatar. I don't have one. But that raises the question as to why I don't have one.
What?
That's a good idea. I'm gonna
Zoot Suit?
Yeah, I'm gonna put together a Zoot Suit otter avatar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a Zoot Suit is, right?
No, I have no idea what a Zoot Suit is.
All right, let's look up. You should look up a Zoot Suit.
Is it appropriate, Polly?
Yes. I mean, not for good taste fashion, but I happen to think they're awesome.
Oh. Hang on.
It's got a really long overcoat, pants that flare out quite wide at the knee and then taper right down at the ankle. Wide shoulders. They're really gaudy and overstated and flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like something you'd be into. I'm not a super big fan of baggy pants.
No.
Ugh.
You know what the worst thing is about skinny pants?
Mm.
Skinny baggy pants?
Oh, you mean the ones that can't quite make it past the hips, but they cut off the circulation and they still bag?
They're really prominent in certain circles that like there's all this extra material in the crotch and they're cut that way to go nowhere, to reach nowhere up into your crotch, but they're skinny pants. Like they're tight on the outside of your hips. It's clear. But then there's like, what is that intended as, a storage area? I don't understand.
This is where I keep all my snacks.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's where you keep all the snacks. You know what? I would appreciate a little bit of extra shenanigans in the crotch area. Because if you're a woman, you have the hips for it. You're going to find yourself running through pants a lot more frequently than any other person on the entire planet. Because if you don't have a thigh gap, all right, Polly? If you don't have a natural thigh gap of any capacity, you get the of your thighs just brushing up against each other. And that frays the pants. And when you fray pants, you get holes. When you get holes, you can't wear those pants anymore. I mean, you can. You just look tacky and
right.
But it's a struggle. It is a struggle. I would pay good money to have that problem be fixed for me, but unfortunately, I have no idea how to fix that problem.
What's the problem?
The pants at the crotch area fray.
Oh, the fraying pants. I thought, don't get caught up in this not having a thigh gap is a problem, because that's not a problem. That's some.
Well, no. In general, it's not a problem. I like not having a thigh gap, except for in cases where it's inconvenient, like when I have to buy new pants every 3 to 6 months because of that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't spend anything more than like $20 on a pair of pants at a time, ever.
Lion Patriot mentioned Cab Calloway. Yeah, massive suit aficionado for sure.
I don't know who that is.
He's a big band leader that was well known for wearing extremely audacious zoot suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! He got a mustache. He's got a mustache. Oh, he cray. Let me show you the picture that I'm looking at right now.
All right.
Beep boop.
Yeah.
Hello. Is this? Oh wow!
Yeah, look at that.
Damn.
Because he would, as a big band leader at the time, it was very attention gathering, and he would go into wild dances and stuff, and the suit he was wearing accentuated the whole showmanship thing of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that style. I could not get on board. I like a nice tailored suit, but nothing too like tight, Like breathing room is important, but also it can't look like you have to roll up the sleeves in order to use your hands. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. I fall into a weird. Okay, like I have this strong reaction when people say, well, it's like when I started wearing clothes that actually fit me. And it's like, those pants, that shirt are so tight that they're extremely tight. And you're defining that as fitting you. Mm-hmm. Like fit is a relative term. You make it sound like now I've entered into proper clothing size. And it's like, yeah, but I'm taking issue with your use of the word proper. I mean,
if it's cutting off the circulation to your balls, you have a problem, sir.
Like if you lean over to pick something up, like bend at the waist to pick something up, and you stand up and you have to like pull up on your pants because the material is so short such that it is slid down off your waist and your butt to do so. Yeah, and you're still having the red hot nerve to describe that as fitting you. I mean, what was a comedian that cracked that joke? Is that he only has sitting suits? He's like, suits? Yeah, because if a suit is cut to fit while you're standing up, if you sit down,
it'll ride up.
Yeah, the pants will pull up because you've bent your knees, and it will show more sock than it was cut to when you were standing. And when you're sitting down, if you're in a chair with armrests, the sleeves will pull up and expose more cuff than was intended, and you're just standing there. Mm-hmm. So he only has sitting suits. Because as soon as he stands up, the suit's too long, but it looks like it's cut perfect when he's sitting down. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of one of the ironies of cuts of suit. They're not going to be comfortable in every situation. It's just the way that it is.
I wouldn't anticipate it being comfortable in every situation. Isn't that why you compensate with not wearing the suit jacket when you're sitting down, and fancy socks with diamond patterns on them, and cuffs that make your cuffs look fancy and shit? Like, there are ways to dress up ill-fitting, ill-cut suits for different scenarios where that's the case, right?
Yeah, well, here's a good way that I describe like freedom of movement in a suit. This is a great way to test it for gentlemen or ladies that are interested in chat. It's like, okay, so you got a single-breasted suit on, right? Is it too tight? Or are you wearing a, quote, fashion-forward skinny suit? Which are wrong, okay?
Wrong.
Single-breasted suit. Button it closed, okay? Button the front closed. And then take your arms and stretch them out in front of you. Does it feel like the material in the back of the suit is going to rip? Do you feel the fabric straining against the front of your shoulders and tightening up like in the front where your pecs are? If you do, your suit's too goddamn tight, and you've let gay men and women cut a suit for you and convince you that it, quote, fits.
So, Polly, having said that, where do you get your suits cut? I want to make sure I get this right.
Well, are you planning on sending me a suit? What the?
No. Like, I need to make sure that I have a suit tailored properly in accordance with Polly's, specifications for boyfriend whenever it is that we go out on the town or whatever.
You want to be able to tell them, damn, your suit too baggy. Damn, your suit too tight. Why? It doesn't fit the Polly criteria.
Exactly. We have to around cocktail hour.
If you can read the dates on the coins in his pocket, the pants are too tight.
Okay, but no one looks at a person's pocket that closely. Jesus. I get it, Polly, all right? You don't need to be euphemistic about it, but like...
Did I ever tell you about the dick pants?
No. What about the dick pants? Hang on. I'm curious now.
Do you want to hear the story about the dick pants?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I came to call them. So, oh God, this is such a stupid story. All right. So I go, this is really more about retail than it is about my dick.
Yeah.
My dick features prominently in this story.
Oh boy.
So here's what happened. I go to a suit shop and I'm looking for a pair of pants because I'm planning on going. I don't need a suit and pant or a jacket and pants combo because I'm planning on going the majority of the conference that I'm attending, just shirt and tie. Mm-hmm. Right. And sometimes not tie. And so when I'm leaving, I'm going to be wearing, I'm going to be bringing a number of different shirts and a couple of different pairs of dress pants and a number of different ties. And I'm not bringing any jackets because I just don't want to be encumbered. That's my feeling. And it's happening over it was either a Wednesday, Thursday or a Thursday, Friday, this out of town conference. So anyway, the academic conference. So I want to be comfortable, right? Because you're sitting there all fucking day listening to panel discussions. That's what happens at academic conferences. You wait it out and then you go meet people. It's all about conferring, hence the name conference, etc. Right? Yeah. But sitting there all fucking day long, the last thing I want to be is extremely encumbered. We're not talking about going out to a dinner looking good. We're talking about sitting there all day. So anyway, that's why. So I go and I buy a pair of pants. And they had a sale on Armani pants of all things. Hugo Boss and Armani. Whatever. So I buy this pair of pants and they seem fine when I'm wearing them, like in the shop. And I'm looking at them in the floor length mirror, the slightly upward angled one. And I wore the dress shoes that I was intending on rocking at that conference. So I'm kind of like, I'm looking at them and I'm like, yeah, this is okay, I guess. Yeah. So, and like a lot of pants of that sort, if you're a man, you've ever been there, like all the pants are over length on purpose. And then they take their little flat chalk and they, okay, here's the shoes you're wearing. We're going to chalk mark it. There's where we want the pants to stop. And then hem them up right for you in the back there with their seamstress services. That happens. So those pants were only on me for the first day because my then girlfriend went to this conference with me. She wasn't presenting, but she wanted to get out of town, and we're only going a couple hours out of town anyway. I put these pants on, and I don't know why I didn't notice this, but I'm like, these pants are really tight around the pelvic region in a way that I didn't notice before. If you know what pleats are on men's pants, right?
Pleats. No.
Like over folded material, like pleating, like a pleated skirt, over folded and then sewn. Yeah. Okay. So there's like single pleats, double pleats. There's like quadruple pleats. Weird things happened, right? But the single pleat is the common one, and the single pleat lines up with the crease in the front leg. Okay. These were not only unpleated pants, these were anti-pleated, if that was a possible thing. They had actually cut fabric and material away. I do not know why I did not notice this beforehand. I couldn't even get my hands in the pockets. There was that little material in the front pelvis region. Like it was like you put your hands in the pockets and all of a sudden you feel like straining of the fabric around your butt and waist. And it's like, God damn it, there's a lack of fabric up in here, you know?
Been there. I've been there.
Right. Okay. So this is the situation. And she looks at me and she looks me up and down. And I had already noticed this. These pants feel very tight. She leans over and she says, I can see your dick. And I look down and I'm like, holy shit, you can. I'm dressed to the left. Right? You could see it where the crotch region was, and then the my business was operating on the left side, you know.
Oh my gosh. Lion Patriot in chat says extortion is gonna like this story. Yes, he will.
What was that? I didn't. You kind of cut out.
Lion Patriot said in chat, extortion is gonna like this story, and I said, yes, he will. Extortion is the friend that I sent you from the Discord.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
The one that's a little bit obsessed with otter peen.
Otter peen. So yeah, maybe I should be telling this story. And I was like, and so anyway, I looked down and I was like, oh yeah, you totally can. Like there are, how can I describe this with some degree of composure? There were surprisingly detailed outlines. Okay, there. That's Now this is, and I'm wearing boxers, so there you go.
Polly, ready for the red carpets is Alpha Omega. Yeah,
so this is so there. That's what happened. Now after an hour later, I'm over at the catering table where the bagels and the coffee and all that are, right? And I'm leaning over and I'm getting my coffee together, my business together. She walks over and she says, "You're not allowed to wear those pants anymore."
Yeah, I'll say.
And I was like, I said, I don't think I want to wear these anymore. They are really uncomfortable. And she says, no, listen, girls are looking. And I don't know if that's true or not, because she didn't have a jealous bone in her body. She had a number of jealous bones in her body. Oh, so it was like, that's the way I took that to mean. It's like, I don't, guys will walk through a room and they'll be oblivious to the girls that are looking at them. Whereas like your girlfriend or the woman who's interested in you, it's like psychic ESP powers. They can be like, zing, 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 zing. Stop looking at my man, bitches. Like they're just, and guys are like that too. You walk into a place with a girl and it's like right away, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. And you motherfucker walk away. Like, you just, you can do it. Right. Because we're both men and women and we can detect that kind of thing. We know when someone's going to be looking and who's likely to be looking and stuff. So maybe she was right. I assumed that she was just being herself. I don't know. But by the time lunch had come around, because that was mid-morning, by the time lunch had come around, she's like, you need to go to your room and take those pants off.
Polly, go to your room.
Yeah, go to your room. Take those pants off. And I wasn't really on some, this was one of those bonuses where here's a hint, incels. Take your victories where you can get them, because it's like, you want to get rid of the pants. She wants you to get rid of the pants. Make it sound like you're getting rid of the pants because she wants them, not because you want to. See, take your victories where you can find them. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
It's like, oh baby, I hear you. I don't want you being uncomfortable out here in these streets. So it's like, yeah.
Whatever you want, dear.
Yeah. Yes, dear. So I ended up returning the pants. Now, this is, to me, is the funny part of the story. With the like a week later, I go back to the place I bought them. Now, keep in mind, these have been hemmed to me for me, like my height, right?
Yeah.
So they've been customized, whatever. How you return customized shit? Well, I thought about that. You know what a stitch ripper is, Weebo?
Yes, I do actually, because I've used it many a time. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, it really is. To run a stitch ripper along like a seam or something like that. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
great. So I break out my stitch ripper and I flip the pants inside out and kind of just go ting, 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 ting. And like the seam is now opened up on one side of the pants. And I'm like, wow, these pants have, and then, return to their size and then go back. And I didn't wear them. And it's not like I spilled tomato sauce all over them or something. So I go back to the store and I'm like, these pants are falling apart. I want my money back. What was to follow was a 25-minute debate over whether or not they were going to, in fact, give me a refund on these pants.
But did you get it?
I did. The short version of the story is eventually I did, but I had to work because the guy was like, "Oh yeah, look at that. That's no good. We'll send them right to the back, and our seamstressy services will fix those right up for you." I'm like, no. I want a refund. And they're like, "But we can fix them for you." And it's like, clearly I was being the unreasonable person here, but I had to act like I was being perfectly reasonable.
No, I don't know. I think an argument can be made like if they had in fact been falling apart, the subpar quality of the pants and the fact that they fell apart after one use means that it's reasonable that you don't want these pants if they're going to be that much of an inconvenience in the future.
That was the basis of my argument. I'm like, are you kidding me? As soon as I get them, I was like, oh, they got this fancy Armani name on, but the truth is, like, they're not that good. They're not worth what I paid for. I'd rather put the money towards something else. So you want to store credit? No. Here's my credit card. I want a refund. And they're like, well, wait a minute. If you want to put the money towards something else, why don't you just take a store credit? And this is why it turned into this big, long thing, right?
Yeah.
But eventually I was able to make it happen, long story short. But there is the story of the dick pants.
The dick pants. Harrowing story there, Polly. It was quite invigorating.
Well, you know what? It's an interesting thing because I don't understand how women walk around with big old cleavage showing. Like, don't you feel a draft? Don't you feel a little on display? Don't you feel a little exposed? Because I was walking around with my dick perfectly outlined, shaft, head, everything. And it was uncomfortable as hell.
So, yes, probably that is a sensation that women bask in on the daily. The discomfort of being on display, of being in pain on some level. But I harken back to some, maybe not decent advice, but advice nonetheless that I received when I was a child from a woman that I knew at the time. She told me that beauty is pain, which I think you could extend to beauty is also discomfort, just in any form. And women are more susceptible to making those sacrifices of comfort in order to turn heads more often.
So women are exhibitionists by nature is my takeaway.
Yes, we have a tendency to peacock, if you were unaware of this. Like, have you, even myself, I will admit, have a tendency to make themselves up in such a way. Like, even now I'm wearing makeup specifically because I want to look decent for the show, and also because the lighting and the way that the camera works, it's been a long weekend. I want to doll myself up so I look a little bit at least decent, especially since I'm immortalizing myself on the internet for all to see for all time. So I've made myself up. Women do the same thing. Usually it's in pursuit of attention from a potential mate. Some cases it's in order to intimidate other females at the same time. But most certainly women peacock themselves. It's literally the only way that I can put it, because it's how that works. They're presenting their assets to the world in order to demonstrate their displays of what they find most attractive about themselves in order to garner that attention. Now, of course, there are some women who don't do this. It's not all of the time, but there are definitely instances where women will do this. Certainly. And it's all women. Like I said, not all the time. And maybe there are a few women that have nothing to peacock, so it would be pointless for them to even try. But my point is, it is a thing. It is a truth universally acknowledged.
Well, I mean, Dana Fullman brings up this point. Women display, but men are not supposed to look. That is the central tension that will never be resolved, because it's Women don't want men to look. That's correct. Women want the men they want to look.
Yes, I was just going to correct and say women want only the men that they want looking to look at them, because
And it's like, that's irrational. It's unachievable.
yes,
But how are you supposed to, they want the men that they want to look a lot of the time, not even knowing who those men are, nor if they will even encounter them that day.
exactly. Oh my god.
But nonetheless, that's what they feel. So if you're looking and they don't want you to look, you're wrong for looking. But they want certain men to blah blah blah. You can't resolve that tension. However, it's just a situation, and a normal human being would probably look at it that way. And a girl who's asking for advice, a mom or whatever, would say to a girl looking for advice, well, honey, you got to make a call on how far you're willing to go. What do you feel comfortable? Realize you're going to attract attention you don't want in addition to the attention you do want. Exactly. Are you willing to deal with that, etc.? So you got to do what's up to your comfort level. That's solid advice for a real human world.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could go with the feminist thing where you're all wrong. I should be able to walk around naked and no one should be looking at me. Like an irrationality.
It's natural for human beings to look at a train wreck in front of them. No, that wasn't clever.
What? Wait, what?
I said it's only natural for human beings to want to stare at, gawk at a train wreck that's being displayed in front of them.
And cleavage counts as a train wreck?
No, naked feminists in the streets. Oh. Patriarchy is a train wreck. Am I wrong?
Well, the infamous video that they showed online, that thick girl with the long curly brunette hair walking around, and all of the men that catcalled her, when in reality what was going on in the videos, it was mostly men saying, hey, how are you doing? Hey, I hope you have a good day. I hope your day's going well. Like, yeah, they were being openly flirty with her, but she's walking. It's like, well, it's not like she had her, stuff on display. She was wearing skin tight jeans and a skin tight black top. She looked very attractive.
Yeah.
She wasn't like out there in sweats is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? There would have been a big difference. She was out there looking really, really attractive and walking around. And I remember Steven Crowder, they went and did it. They went and hired a male model and they got him to walk around. And you should see the attention that he got. Unsurprisingly, he wore tight pants and the really tight short sleeve shirts. He was
a wife beaters, right?
Not a wife beater, like the one with the, you know what I mean? And he was a male model. He was built up like what I'm sure.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good. And women were walking up to him, and all of the flirtatious ways that women, instead of being, hey, I hope you're having a good day, like a guy would do, or how are you doing today, lady? And so forth. It was girls running up going, I swear I know you from somewhere, like trying to start a conversation.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Two different girls ran up and started with, my friend said that. My friend thinks that you're cute. I have a bet with my friend that.
Yeah, girls do that too. They throw their friends under the bus and be like, so my friend thinks that you're cute. Can we get your number?
Yeah, and it told you a lot more about just general human interaction that anyone who's ever lived in a society has already seen happen. Women tend to want to, I'm here and available for a conversation. If you just wanted to hit on me, that would be totally okay. Just saying. And the guys start the conversation where, hey, I hope she's responsive to this conversation that I'm starting. Nothing was surprising about any of this, but the difference between it, of course, is that the feminists made it into toxic masculinity.
Well, what's interesting about that video, right? You're talking about the 10-hour one walking around New York.
Yeah.
So of the 10 hours that they got footage-wise of that girl walking around New York in that outfit, only 10 minutes made it to the final cut that you actually see online.
That's rough.
Yeah, that says a lot more about the patriarchy and how much of a non-issue it is than it says about how much of an issue it is,
Yeah.
Daniel Fullman asks, so by the way, mind if we only go like another 11 or so minutes till?
Not at all. Yeah, right. Let's wrap it up.
Because I got dishes to do.
Ugh. Yeah, I got a fuck ton of shit to do, including a phone call that I really got to make soon. So 10 minutes is good. Really good.
All right, cool. In that case, we'll open it up to questions from the chat. So, chat, if you feel like a desperate need to have your questions answered by our lovely panel of two, feel free to put them in the chat. And we'll start with Daniel Pullman, who asks both Polly and myself, what is your go-to flirt move? And I will let Polly answer first.
No, you were listed first. What was your go-to flirt move?
Oh, I haven't had an opportunity to actually flirt with anybody quite a bit.
I know, that's why I was asking.
Which is
We
why
got Weebs on the hot seat.
I mean, I flirt with boyfriend quite often. It's usually just stupid shit like, hey babe, I love you. And then he's like, oh, I love you too. And I'm like, oh, we should date. And you know,
that's so adorable. We should totally date. We should
totally date. And then you know what he started doing? He started taking that and resetting our start date to that. Is like, so we're about to celebrate our 5-day anniversary from the last time we talked about how we should date. And it really annoys me because I'm like, we are coming up on our 5-year anniversary of being together. You do not get to reset the clock here. Sorry, it makes me super salty. But Polly, what's your go-to flirty move?
It varies depending on the situation. I kind of let it. Yeah, I just started off with, "Hey, yo, what up, baby?" and then go from there.
Really?
No, not at all. The it I have never started a conversation that way in my life.
God.
I will tell you this, like, as a more like honest answer, words, I don't know, like flirt move, I guess would be the better way to describe it. If you make locked eye contact with a woman that you're interested in and want to flirt with, you just walk up and say, and then just say, hi, hello, how are you doing? With a big smile. The response you get from that is going to tell you a lot as to whether or not you want to continue at all. It really doesn't matter what saying you're coming up with. Flirt experts online with their negs and all the other crap that they say. It's like, look, if a woman isn't really interested because like she's just not going to be attracted to your type, meaning the way you look, your height, whatever the fuck, right? Mm-hmm. If you walk up to, like, think about it, if a girl walks up to you and she cuts you, she makes eye contact with you, like locks eye contact with you, and then cuts a big smile and says, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing today? And if you're not interested, if you're in a bad mood, if you're any of those things, whatever response it is you give is going to, you know, think about it. It's going to tell her everything. Like, what's the point in even continuing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it relying on
eye contact, you know, and smile.
You know, hey, Weebo, are your feet sore? Because you've been running through my mind all day, girl.
No.
Like do you see what I mean? Like, pick up lines, just fuck that shit, man. Like, just don't memorize lines. Determine any potential interest and then go from there. And it doesn't really matter what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. I appreciate this. Let's see. Who else has a question?
Will there ever be another bearded U.S. president? Last line, Patriot. I certainly hope so. That's a good question. I would like to think so, yes. And basically, I think that's Lion Patriot saying that Ted Cruz should run again.
I just think it's not that hard for people to grow beards. Like, at that age, especially, you gooch. Just grow one out. It's fine. Shio, I'm going to read this because it's funny. What is the worst combination of two sicknesses? Diarrhea and Alzheimer's. You're running, but you don't know where or why.
Jesus. Hot damn, man.
And Jordan asks, so now that Valentine's Day chocolate is 50% off, what kind would you recommend? See, I'm partial to peanut butter chocolates, so that. All of that. Or you know, is it Ghirardelli's? They come the type of chocolate I'm talking about. They come in like the little square thingies, the packets.
Oh, you got me.
Anyway, I really like the caramel ones with the caramel in the inside, and I like to put them in the freezer and eat those like that. I don't know if they are discounted now, though. That's the thing. Because They're always delicious. There's always time for that. And it's not themed specifically for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Cult of Krill asked, did Renting Monkey call his wife a whore? Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
Poor
He goes through this whole rigmarole to explain how he didn't. I've listened to it. It's unsatisfactory.
Is it on Monkey
a whore?
Morning?
The initial recitation of how he did is yes.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Will there ever be... Oh, no, wait. We already answered that. Is it possible for you to make a cameo on Side Quest yet? In due time. In due time. Brad Young. We shall see. I don't want to spoil anything.
Hey, Weebo.
Huh?
You're dressed like a whore. Did I just call you a whore?
No, I don't know if you called me a whore. You just said that I'm dressed like a whore, but that's patently false because I am most certainly not.
Are you going to take it badly because the word whore was applied to you?
No, not really.
No? Okay. Then by that standard, Ranting Monkey did not call his wife a whore. I'm just saying people saying that I'm wrong in chat. I don't know. Monkey, it wasn't the way she was dressed, it was her earrings. He said, you sitting over there with your whore earrings.
Oh my god. I think he's just being antagonistic. He knows exactly what he's saying. And here's the thing.
And it's like, so I don't know. You did he? Nah. I guess it depends on your perspective largely, but I'm going to go with yes because it's funnier.
Johanna Mitoraj asks, does chat know your real name? And no, they don't. It's actually Sven.
She's lying. We talked after stream. It's Gertrude. Dogs.
Hey!
What?
Don't be fucking rude. I am not a Gertrude.
No.
No, at least give me a better fake name.
Prudence.
Why are you trying to make me sound like a
Beatrice?
colonial Puritan?
Beatrice, Gertrude.
Is that what I look like to you? Am I Beatrice to Gertrude to you? Wow.
I was trying to think of like the most uncomplimentary name that was a legit name, you know?
No, you know what? Call me something like Theodora.
Theodora.
Right? I like that name.
I don't understand why any man would want to call their daughter Chastity. Like, what's wrong with you?
That's like putting a bulletin board above their head for the rest of their life that says, I have daddy issues.
Well, you understand what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? It's like, well, she will be chaste. You're hoping.
It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy if you try to make it so. Sorry.
I know a guy knocked a girl up in high school, and he's like, I'm going to name my son, because it was a son, right? And he had this like total fake machismo thing running that was like thin as Elizabeth Warren's economic plans. The woman ends up consenting to this. You want to know what they named the kid? Strong.
What?
Like, as in like physically strong, possessing physical strength, strong. That was the first name. And the woman went along with this. And I'm like, you better, like, I mean, seriously, what happens if your kid's a 90-pound weakling, man? And like, you don't think every single bully in middle school and high school is going to be like, oh, we're going to see about that. Jesus.
Yeah, no. There are certain rules that you have to adhere to when you're naming people anything. Like, shish. When you're naming your child, right? It can't be something that they can be easily bullied by. You also don't want to name your child after someone that you don't like. Even if you like the name, you can't, like, you don't like that person. The name is ruined forever. Like, I like the name Dimitri, but that name is ruined for me forever. Unfortunately.
There's a Dimitri out there crying somewhere.
I'm sorry. It is. And then there's the names that, like, because you also have to agree with the person who it is that you're having the kid with too, right? They have to agree on the name. And so if they shoot down the name, then you're shit out of luck. Gaius is a good name, says Lion Patriot. I actually like that name too.
Gaius is in like Gaius Julius Caesar Gaius, or
Maybe. I like it though.
isn't everyone just going to end up calling him Guy? What up, Guy?
Well, it's not like it's an unheard of name. I mean, one of the characters within the Robin Hood folklore is Guy of Gisborne. So I'm probably not saying that correct, but it is spelled Guy.
Oh, Sir Guy of Gisborne from the
Yeah.
Robin Hood lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what, Polly? We're at time.
It is that time.
It's that time. So we're going to quit the stream, guys. But before that, I want to thank all of you for coming out, watching us consecutively for the last 2 hours. I hope you guys enjoyed our lovely conversation. We went from pointless Captain America art to lamps to breakups to whatever the heck in it. Oh, dick pants to this.
I asked you if you wanted to hear it. You said yes. I'm not responsible.
And now we're here and we're having a good time. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all to those who donated. Thank you to those who liked, commented, shared, and subscribed to not just myself, but also Polydub himself. Links to his stuff in the description. And if he wants to shill out his stuff in the chat too as well, he'll probably go ahead and do that. Hey, Polly, speaking of things and stuff, when can we expect
you to finish your Captain America or your Men of the MCU video?
Yeah,
I don't know. When are you going to finish that?
When are we going to finish off the Star Wars holiday special thing?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually have Sony Vegas open right now. And there's my link in chat, guys, if you're interested in checking it out. Fun things go on over there. It's where the cool people are.
Just not our collab.
I started editing it. Oh, God, Weebo, doing the kind of editing I'm doing, you know what I'm talking about here for this thing. Yeah. It's a slow slogging process. So what I've decided to do, instead of like suffering my way through it in one slog, I did like a number yesterday afternoon and then a number last night and then a number early this morning. And it's like, so chipping away at it, it can't last forever. There's only 2 pages of script. So
only 2 pages.
So, but that's the point.
Only 2 pages, guys.
Tripping and falling and stumbling and chincing my way along. It will be complete sooner than later.
I want you all to realize he bugged me for weeks and weeks and weeks about this collab and getting on to talk about what it is that we were going to do for it. And now the tables, how they have turned.
So how goes that Men of the MCU video?
It goes.
Does it?
That's all you're getting. It goes.
Ryan Walters says, which holiday? Easter? Jesus.
Yeah, let's aim for Easter. Why don't we, Polly?
Easter's pretty far away, actually. It'll be done long before Easter. Shit.
Oh,
you know what we should do is have you done a premieres?
Yeah.
Have you? I've never done one.
Hey, Polly does the color-coded schedule. Oh, I just said that the premieres, they're all right. Sorry.
No, this is fine. But I've never been to one of your premieres, so it's like, because once the premiere is premiered, it no longer appears as such in your sub box, right? It's just the video.
Yeah.
So I've never seen one or been to one of yours. I don't get to see a lot of premieres. I've been to a few of Irate Alex's, and then I haven't been to a lot of premieres. I think it's a good idea. It's cool that YouTube actually provided that service, because it's usually they're into fucking over their content creators, not helping them out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's nice. I just don't use it. I like to sneak it in, like sneak it up on my viewers. Like, it's going to go live at 8. You're just going to get a message in your sub box. No shenanigans other than that.
Yeah. Anyway. So it's coming along. I mean, and don't make it, it's the kind of editing that it is that I haven't done before that led to such a length on the collab and such.
That's okay.
And you went to Paris. You're partially responsible.
I wasn't even here. We had finished working on the script for it before I even left for Paris. So my part was done, son.
You weren't here.
There
was zero moral support. I mean, How's a man supposed to work like that?
Polly, you're a strong, independent man. You know, figure it out.
All right, so let's wrap this fucker up.
All right, cool. So see you guys next week, same time, same place. And I know we we talked about getting a guest on last week, but that obviously didn't happen. So hopefully we will confer about that later this week to see if we can finally get someone on. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything to show?
Two newest videos on my channel are the last comic book curation that we did on last Wednesday, and then the George Soros video that I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I have another one in process of editing that in addition to the collab. So yeah, there's more material to come, and then we're going to do a noir bar, as Evolved Potatoes said, as soon as Far gets more cooperative and other people are actually up as late as I sadly am.
Yeah.
So more to come. Check out my channel. Yay!
Excellent. And I will have a main video on the channel in addition to a re-upload from the other channel, which I am consolidating into just this channel because I'm lazy and I don't want to maintain a second channel on top of everything else that I got going on. So
Word.
Enjoy the week, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday. I hope you have a good Monday. And I will see you when I see you guys next. Bye, guys. Say bye.
Laters.
Bye.